Perfect. So recording is started. So let me start again. So happy New Year, everyone. Thank you for joining. Before we start the meeting officially, so please keep in mind that this is a CNCF project. So please be kind and nice to each other and respectful. And also, I like you to know that everything is recorded. So if you missed a meeting or just want to watch yourself talking, you can find us on YouTube. So let me share my screen and then we can get started. Share. Here it is. Yeah, so I believe PD protocol was added by Abdullah, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. I think we discussed this before. I just want to surface this again, and basically bring communities awareness that we would like to push this forward. I think Young put like a lot of thought on this and the discussion issue, and the idea here is again like to define a protocol for PD and inference gateway. We have that already implemented in LLMD. I think there is a path towards, or it already exists, basically making that like model server agnostic, making it part of inference gateway. And that would help us again canonize like how PD is supported in inference gateway. So yeah, if you have any thoughts, please share them either in the discussion or on this meeting.
Yeah, anyone wants to add some comments on this topic? Okay, so nothing for now, but please feel free, and more than that, not just feel free, we would really appreciate your feedback and inputs on this topic because this is an important topic that should be discussed. So even if you're thinking about some ideas or directions after the meeting, feel free to go into this discussion issue, or there are some open issues around it that discuss PD in general. One of them was opened recently in the last 2 days. Yeah, Kellen, I see your hand.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, and kind of bring it up here. Does anyone have any issue if we cut a PR for like an official proposal? Right now, it's just in a discussion. I'd be happy to see this as an official proposal personally. If anyone's opposed, let me know. Otherwise, I'd say we have Young do that, and then we can start on implementation. Cool. I'll take the silence as compliance, and I think we should do that and get this moving because I agree. Be good to have.
Yeah. And anyway, just to make it clear, I know that there are some new faces here, so just to make it clear, a proposal is always a valid thing, in my opinion. So proposing something, we should not ask for acceptance. It's just proposing. So opening a discussion is something free for everyone. So Kellen, feel free to open a proposal. Then we continue the discussion there. Okay. Yeah, I just noticed that we didn't go over the action items from previous meetings. The previous one was long ago, but Kellen, do you want to update us on the backlog grooming, something that?
Yeah, I have done my lawn mowing. I went through some of the PRs and we're getting some of them moving. Uh, Actually, somebody from Alibaba, that's what it is. they're also interested in getting moving from
Active
active
active.
passive. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they did a decent little analysis. They actually set up a Redis cache and took a look. Uh, Also used communication in between the EPP pods and tried both of those out. Neither of those are promising, which supports the hypothesis that they wouldn't be, but happy to see the work actually done. Uh, so I think I'm going to try to get them in touch with some LMD folks. I know this is something Maroon has been pushing, but I would love to
Yeah.
see us get to an active model that is still performant. So, anyways,
Yeah.
that comes from the lawn mowing, which is cool.
Yeah, yeah. I was actually reviewing that proposal as well, the active active. So it's a bit pity that no one from Alibaba can join the meeting either today or in general, because the time I think is not so ideal for them. But I was thinking that the proposal, like it looks a bit too complicated, in my opinion. Um, but then from the other hand, we don't have anything, any alternative that is simpler. Um, Maybe we can start with a simpler approach rather than communicating between different pods in the pool. I'm not sure about it. Like, I don't know, maybe just have a Redis, um,
I
an
think
all active. Yeah,
Redis is a no-go. There's way too much chatter when traffic gets high, and Redis gets basically overloaded from all the requests from the different replicas. I'd be interested to see because it's really prefix cache that is the holdback. I'd be interested to see what active with the precise prefix communication looks like. Do we still have a high communication overhead from all the events? I think that would be an interesting path to explore and see what that looks like. And
yeah.
then if we can
So
get that working, then we basically say that any plugin uh, needs to have a way to communicate data effectively, or um, you can't have active. Anyways,
yeah, so basically the precise traffic scorer. So by design, using the KV events, it's meant to. It's like a pub sub. Like the intention is to publish the event once and then being able to read the same event from multiple replicas. And then, so as long as we keep our plugins like updating all the replicas, then we shouldn't have any issues with active. Um, so comparing to the estimated prefix where things are calculated in memory, this cannot work like without heavier changes.
Uh, yeah,
Um,
just like a plus one to what Kellen said. Like, I think we should just basically say exactly that. Like, if the plugin is not like active compliant, then
yeah,
tough luck. Like, you have to do active passive. If it is, then sure. Like, you need to be aware of that. Like, we should provide guidance, but I don't know if we are in a position to actually propose, like some generic protocol to support it agnostically for all plugins somehow. Like, it's gonna be really tough to do.
yeah, I
yeah,
I
yeah.
completely agree.
Yeah, me too. I think the guidance should be to implement the plugins in a way that can be consumed by multiple replicas rather than implementing a protocol to sync between different replicas.
Yeah, I agree with everything you're saying, and I think to tie a bow on it, to tie with what Abdullah is saying, I think we just document. It's like this is what we've tried with these things. Active works in these specific scenarios. If your plugin does not fit this scenario, you have to do active passive. And yeah, agreed. Like that is currently a limiting constraint, and I don't know that it would be a useful input of time to try to create this very general framework that we make active for any plugin that comes in. I agree. That would be a rabbit hole. But cool. Yeah, I think we should document it. If we want that documentation done in like a week or two, that is not something I can take. But I would like to see this done. Maybe I can just write an issue during the meeting right now.
Yeah, I'm +1 on documenting it, but I think it's worth like waiting for now to see the actual results and letting Maroon and other folks in LLMD to test it and see what they are achieving. Yeah, Abdullah.
Actually, like this goes into another topic, which is documenting our plugins properly. So it's actually that, and then there's a section in each one: is it active passive or active compliant? Right now, we don't have proper documentation of the plugins, their behavior, and the parameters. It's just you have to go read the code.
Yeah.
If you do that, then it's gonna basically be part of this solution for this problem.
Yeah, I think the problem is even it's even worse than what you just described, Abdullah. We don't even have like formal guide or documentation for the framework itself. Like, what is the plugins? What are the extension points? What are their roles in the system? What is the order of calls? Like, maybe
Those are two,
I'll
right?
take and it's
we need to
different.
split
It's different parts. Yeah, it's different parts.
There's a dev
So
guide and there's a user guide, like a end user guide, and there is a dev guide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can take an action item to do that. That is something that's been weighing on me to do for a while. Just had other things to do. I will make that a priority and try to get that done. At least the framework documentation, and then we can reach out to others to do the specific plugins.
Yeah, and I can help. Like if you need documenting the framework, I'm happy to do parts of it as well.
Sounds good.
Yeah, okay. So going over additional action items from previous meeting, I see some issue about getting started guide assigned to Mike, but to be honest, I don't remember what it was about. It was about selecting the tab once and then like not having to select the tab of the gateway in each and every section. I don't think that something happened with that. So as far as I know, everyone were on vacation. Maybe I'll just create an issue and assign it to Mike. Not sure if Mike is here. No, he's not here today. So I'll ping him. Kellen, document the expected behavior of gateway installers.
I'll have to reach out to Mike or Anna. I think I was talking to them about this. We were just kind of documenting, I believe, that in a install path, you should not try to install the CRDs necessarily because you might obliterate the CRD installs from like an old gateway installation. So I can reach out to them and see exactly where they would like this placed, but I have not yet done it. I turned my brain off around Christmas and turned it on last Monday. So
yeah, like a lot of people here. Okay, and the next one is yet another documentation. Okay, we can take that offline. I think that none of these documentations AIs made any progress, so let's take it offline. I'll take care of the first one, Kellen. I assume if you're planning to reach out to Mike, then the other one is also it was raised by Mike. So getting back to what we have today to the agenda, Bob, you can take it.
Yeah, I just want to flag an issue with the PBR. So I think on Monday there is a PR changing the BBR request response processing to be a chunked request response. But I tested BBR plus EPP, and I found like actually EPP is receiving the chunked response with like the wrong EOS configured. You can check this diagram. The left side is BBR, the right side is EPP. And if you send a very long request, so currently the request body I sent is like 140K bytes. So and with the implementation, we want to chunk it in like 6,000 bytes. And on the right side, you can see BBR first received the request body with multiple chunks, and then BBR just like buffer it and cache it, and then chunk it to 3 chunks, which is aligned with our const, the 6200. And then on the 3, like you can see BBR will send 4 responses. Like the actual response is the header mutation, which is expected. But on the EPP side, I only receive, you can see the first response body I received is with EOS to be true. And this is and this caused the EPP failure because like EPP is trying to get the EOS to true and then like using JSON Marshall and Marshall to Marshall the request body, and this will fail because this is just partial body. I'm not sure. So and also I tested like using a single BBR in GKE. I'm not sure if it's the BBR implementation or the GKE implementation had something wrong. With single BBR, I also cannot like the model server cannot like receive the right EOS. But like another thing I want to flag is like Envoy also have a bug. I linked in the PR. And the bug is saying like if we chaining multiple external processing using either the full duplex mode or the streamed mode, there could be some issue with the like EOS flag. So posting here, I just want to see if anyone like trying the BBR, the new BBR, and the BBR plus EPP. And if you send a very long request, can you reproduce this? I just want to make sure it's not just me getting this error.
Yeah, that's an important issue. So I was trying BBR. I worked on it a lot in the last few days. I'll update on that. That's next in the agenda. But I actually haven't tried sending like big requests. I was mainly, trying to test functionality of my changes, but I can try that. I'll take an action item. And I'm using Istio, so in case there is like any bug with GKE that is not happening in Istio, then we can see that clearly.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you.
Okay, so you did like a good introduction for the BBR changes. So maybe I'll update. Let me see. Issue, I think it is 1812. Yeah. So before the holidays started, we had this proposal doc of BBR evolution for multiple inference pool management, not necessarily management, but in the scenario where we have like multiple inference pools, but we want to keep the same experience for the end user, for the one who is sending the requests, as if he's using a single pool. So in that case, it is possible to use BBR. And these changes, so everything that is documented here in the proposal is already implemented and is merged. It is working. I've tested it locally. I'm working on a PR to update the guide to show how multiple inference pools can be used and then deploy BBR in a way that we can send a request without any modification. And the only requirement is that all model names, whether it's a base model or adapter, they should be unique, because we need to be able to map, in some sense, the input. And the only input we have to map a request is the model name in the request. So this should be unique. And then we know how to map that to the correct pool. So BBR is injecting a new header, and I kept the existing behavior, so I haven't touched that, just added a new one, which is just the header of the base model, which is associated with the inference pool. So basically today, the mental model of inference extension and inference pool is that it serves a single base model with multiple LoRa adapters. So now what we have is that BBR injects a new header of the base model, and I've changed the Helm chart of inference pool to create the HTTP route in a way that the base model is mapped to the inference pool. So what happens is that the base model is injected, and then the HTTP route maps between the base model and the correct inference pool. So this is basically the change. Once the guide, the quick start guide is updated, I'll maybe add another item to the agenda just to go over it in the next meeting, and then to see if anyone has questions. Yeah, I'll stop here. Any questions on this topic? Okay, no questions. And I'll just add another clarification that all the changes are backward compatible. So it is possible to define BBR. It is possible to work without it. It is possible to keep working as if you already worked with that, you can keep using the same way you already did. It is still working, the same header that you used, everything is there. So no breaking changes, backward compatible, and I'll go over the guide once it's ready. Yeah, Kellen.
Yeah, this is just like admin stuff, just calling out that we are going to cut another RC today. We have a fix in for the standalone EPP. We have a fix coming for the approximate prefix cache to support PD properly. And then I left that placeholder just to kind of ask, does anyone have anything that they've run into that they find issue with? I think we're okay. I've taken a look at our nightly benchmark, and things seem okay. So other than those fixes, we'll cut another RC. We'll do more testing, but I think I'm feeling good about how this is going so far. But if anyone finds anything, please let me know. We'll cut another RC. Right now, I think we're still on track for Tuesday for the official release.
What about this this PR that Bob mentioned about the BBR crashing or not working well? Maybe we should revert at least to make it work with small sizes.
It should.
Yeah, the small size is working currently.
Okay, so it's just like the high. Okay.
But I'm what I'm concerning about is like BBR plus EPP with a little long request, like longer than the body limit we set, the 6 to
Yeah.
handle.
Yeah. what is the limit if we revert the whole PR, like back to a buffered mode in BBR?
What we don't set any limit if we revert it back. We just like buffer the whole request body and then send it back all the way to the envoy. I think reverting it is just like revert to the back to the previous behavior. It's just not supporting
So
very long request.
Yeah.
But now reverting, I feel like if somebody wants to use BBR and EPP, I'm not sure it will work right now with a slightly longer request body.
So, Bob, I wanted to wanted to start with like let's link to where this PR was, but I did want to ask, does reverting the BBR change do anything? Because BBR was actually out of sync with EPP, which is another thing. I think we should make the XProc interface a library and everything uses the same thing. Anyways, I don't think reverting that PR is going to do anything because all that does is allow for requests that are longer than the Envoy buffer limit. It just chops them up into chunks and sends those. So I don't think that is our issue, especially because EPP does work with that, or it does work as is. I think the issue is in Envoy configuration. But if we want an abundance of caution, we can revert. I'm just thinking that that's not the issue since it's using the same logic that EPP does.
Yeah, intuitively, I'd say I agree. So I haven't checked it, but I think it's something with the configuration. Okay, let's not include that.
Yeah, I think yeah, fair enough. And also, I think the workaround is probably using the previous BBR version. It's also okay. Yeah, if this issue truly happen.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so we have plenty of time. I see here some new faces. I don't want to put anyone on the spot, but if anyone would like to introduce himself, then feel free.
Yeah, I can go ahead. So let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Maxime. I'm part of the Dynamo effort, which is a distributed inference framework primarily driven by NVIDIA, developed by NVIDIA. So we are trying to adopt or at least be compatible with inference gateway extension, EPP, and other things that you guys are discussing here. So I've been passively listening today, but hopefully next upcoming meetings we'll probably come with proposals and more actively participate in all the discussions that we're having here.
Sounds good, Maxim. That's great. I think many of us here would be happy to see Dynamo more in the discussions and driving proposals, requirements. So good to see you here.
Yeah.
Anyone else would like?
My name is Peter. I'm based in Rotterdam. I'm a cloud engineer and a long-time Kubernetes user, switching to a Kubernetes developer, in particular with SIG testing. And what drew me into this particular meeting is the partnership with VLLM. So that was a separate project that I was following. So I'm just here out of sheer curiosity.
Great to meet you, Peter. Okay, so if anyone else is interested.
My name is Meenakshi Kaushal, and I'm also in the same team as Maxim. And my team looks at multiple things, including NIM, NEMO microservices, and Dynamo. And I also don't have much background into what the Gateway API extension is, so I'm just listening in first to understand before starting to contribute. So thank you.
Yeah, great to meet you all, and great to get more contributions. So welcome to Gateway API Inference Extension. Okay, so we have a bit more than 20 minutes. So if there is any additional topics that anyone would like to discuss, that's a plenty of time. And if not, you can all get back 20 minutes. So I'll be in quiet and let anyone raise his hand. Going once, going twice. Okay, guys. Usually we take all the time, but this time, the holiday seasons,
We're
nothing
all getting back
changed.
into it. It's all right.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, Happy New Year, everyone. See you
Thanks all.
next time.
Happy New Year. Bye bye.